Hey, it's Pat Steinberg. Here is the long-awaited first episode of the one and only Scorchstack Podcast. Hey, you, subscribe to Scorchstack.
Hey, it's Rams.
Recorded in the Saddle Dome Dodge Ram, it's the Scorchstack Podcast.
On today's episode, why Flames forward Elias Lindholm seems to have it in for character actor Richard Karn. Stay tuned.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scorchstack Podcast, and now a word from our sponsors.
Scorchstack? 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 Wait, no, that one was bad. Okay, wait. Scorchstack. Scorch? Stack? Scorchstack. 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 Scorchstack.
When it's time to go to battle, you go hard as a motherfucker with Total War from Red Cod War. The complete all-in-one pre-workout from America's #1 supplement brand. That's right, you fucking beefcakes. Experience the most energy, focus, and skin-splitting pumps you ever felt during a workout. Holy shit! Don't believe me? I don't give a shit. But here's what Adam from the Armed has to say. Redcon 1 Total War makes me feel like God for 2 minutes. And then I feel like I'm going to die. And now when you use the promo code ULTRAPOP20, you can get 20% off your order. Will it work? Probably not. But there's only one fucking way to find out. Get fucking huge with Red Cod
Hey, subscribe to Scorchstack.
Welcome to the first episode of the Scorchstack Podcast.
Hey now, this is the brain genius Josh Custodio from Wrestling Brain, and you are now listening to the Scorchstack Podcast.
Hey, why don't you just go ahead and subscribe to Scorchstack already?
This is the first episode of the Scorchstack, I want to believe.
Hey, it's the Zoobs from Wrestling Brain. You're listening to the Scorchstack Podcast.
Hey, this is Laura from Locked On Canadians, and you're listening to the Scorchstack Network TSN podcast.
Hey, it's Nathan, and I'm here with my two cats, Chester and Baja, and we want you to know that you're listening to the first episode of the Scorchstack Podcast. Now, what do we always say? That's right, subscribe to Scorchstack.
Hi, this is Josh. And this is Luke of EvolvingHockey.com. And this is the Scorchstack Podcast.
This is Ted and you're listening to the Calgary Flames podcast called the Scorchstack Podcast. I love to listen to it while I'm on the subway. Ooh.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scorchstack Podcast, and now a word from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Marlboro. Marlboro, the only brand of cigarettes that your body craves and that your body needs. Whether it's day and whether it's night, whether it's rain or whether it's shine, Marlboro is the only brand that is guaranteed to get you through the day. So the next time that you are planning to leave your children and go into a 7-Eleven, make sure to grab a pack of Marlboro.
Well, it looks like this blew up. Subscribe to the Scorchstack.
Hey there, it's your boy the Zoobs from Wrestling Brain. Wrestling Brain. More and more people are saying Wrestling Brain, and more people are saying listen to the Scorchstack Podcast.
Hey everyone, it's Nathan, and you are listening to the Scorchstack Podcast, which is the only podcast which talks about the Calgary Flames. And if you can think of another podcast that even mentions anything tangentially related to the Calgary Flames, you're a liar. So stop lying.
Hello, my friends, it's Flube. You're listening to the first episode of the Scorchstack Podcast.
Hey, this is Scott from Locked On Canadians, and you're listening to the Scorchstack Network, TSN Podcast. And remember, if you don't subscribe to Scorchstack, Scorch will burn down your house.
Hey, this is Ryan Pinder, and you're listening to the Scorchstack Podcast. Did you know I once advocated for a 3-year, $9 million deal for Chad Johnson? Yeah, radio's tough. Anyway, more from the Scorchstack Podcast.
Scorchstack? 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 Oh man, you can't say that quickly. Okay, Scorchstack.
And don't forget, subscribe to Scorchstack.
Hello, my friends. You're listening to the first episode of the Scorchstack Podcast.
Hi everyone, this is Thomas from SB Nation and Big Shiny Goons, and you are listening to the Scorchstack Podcast.
Hey, what time is it? Why, it's subscribe to Scorchstack o'clock. Knock knock, who's there? Hey, it's me, and since I have your attention, you should subscribe to the Scorchstack.
Hey, this is Igor Lariano II, and this is the first episode of the Scorchstack Podcast.
Haven't you made enough mistakes today? Subscribe to Scorchstack.
Between you and me, I'd be subscribing to Scorchstack. Cool people subscribe to Scorchstack.
This steamy hot plate of fuck you is presented by the big stuffed shells at Buca de Beppo. Mama fucking Mia! Mama fucking Mia!
9 out of 10 doctors recommend sunscreen. And the other one doesn't subscribe to Scorchstack, so you figure it out.
Hello, my friends, it's Flube, and you're listening to the first episode of the Scorchstack Podcast, right here on something.
This episode of Scorchstack is brought to you by Raid Shadow. No! No, it's not! I'm not doing the ad read. Mike, I don't care what you say. I'm not doing the mic read. I'm not doing it. No!
Hey, it's the Zoobs from the Wrestling Brain. You know, people are always saying Wrestling Brain, and we're always saying Scorchstack. Listen to Scorchstack. Subscribe to Scorchstack. 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 Scorchstack.
Hello, my friends, it's Flube, and you're listening to the first episode of the Scorchstack Podcast.
This blew up. Subscribe to the Scorchstack.
Hey there, it's Wrestling Brain, Wrestling Brain, Wrestling Brain, Wrestling Brain, and we want to tell you to listen to the Scorchstack Podcast.
Hey, you! Subscribe to Scorchstack!
Hey, it's Igor Lariano II. This is the Scorchstack Podcast.
Hey, you! Subscribe to Scorchstack!
Listening to the only podcast that has a mascot in its name, and the only podcast that watches terrible TV shows. This is the Scorchstack Podcast.
Hey, if you were Scorchstack, I'd subscribe to you. What, are you too good to subscribe to Scorchstack?
Thanks for listening to the first episode of the Scorchstack Podcast. If you liked what you listened to, give us a like. We'll be on SoundCloud, iTunes, Napster, Friendster, MySpace, Nexopia, LinkedIn. What else? I don't know. Wherever people find podcasts will be on there. Stitcher. I think Stitcher is one of them. Blue Wire. I don't know. I think you need to get sponsored for that, though. If somebody wants to sponsor us, though, we will go on Blue Wire. Sportsnet 960, CBC, ABC, NBC. We're definitely gonna be on NBC. Watch later this year. We got a Scorchstack variety show coming. Teletoon, much music. CMT, Country Music Television, we're definitely going to be there. You can also watch us in between reruns of King of the Hill there. I think that's it, honestly. Outdoor Life Network, OLN, I think that's what it is. Oh, and HLN, the channel with all of the murder porn, like Forensic Files and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a wrap. This is the first episode of the Scorchstack Podcast. We hope you really enjoyed it. Special thanks to our amazing friends, Josh, the Zoobs over at Wrestling Brain, Laura and Scott from Locked On Canadians, Thomas from Big Shiny Goons, the twins from EvolvingHockey.com, Pat, Ryan from Sportsnet 960, our beloved friends there. I know this is going on a long time, but I thought this was a pretty good episode. You got to give it to us. We really delivered after weeks and months of people going on Twitter and saying, make a podcast, do a podcast. We delivered, and we really hope you enjoyed it.